Well, welcome back. We're all just tourists here. I'm Jay, I'm your host. And what I'm doing today is making some basically a potato salad. You've probably made them, you've probably had them, you've probably had them in my restaurant. This is not exactly what I do at the restaurant, but it's very close to it. I started with russet potatoes, those were not in good shape, but I peeled them, I washed them, I took a little bit of starch off them. And then I started them in this water with about a teaspoon of salt, and got these eggs in there because I'm boiling my eggs. Make sure that you wash the eggs before you put in there so that there's nothing on the the shells that are going to be in contaminating your potatoes. It takes about 10-15 minutes depending on how you cut these and how many you've got. Those are almost done. This is some of the chopped up vegetable that I'm going to put in there. That's a sweet pickle. A lot of people use just regular relish, but I have this Mount Olive bread and butter chips, and I chop them up. These are no sugar added. I'm a diabetic, so it helps me keep my sugar down. There's a Spanish onion there and a stalk of celery, and of course that is bacon bits. Bacon bits are made from TVP, textured vegetable protein, sugar, and smoke. And it is a vegan product. In the restaurant, I put regular bacon in my potato salad, but for home, because I'm trying to keep my cholesterol down, I've been more of a pescatarian and not eating any red meat, and certainly not any pork or beef or chicken right this point in my life. I'm not a vegetarian, but I'm pretty close to it. I do eat fish and shellfish, but in this case, there's no shellfish and no fish going in my potato salad. And because I wanted a little bit of the smokiness that I normally have bacon in there, I used that instead. So my potatoes are cooked. I just inserted a little knife into the potatoes to make sure that they were tender and done. They were. And I don't want them to turn into mashed potatoes. Nothing wrong with mashed potatoes, but that's not what I'm shooting for right now. So what I did is I just dumped that out. I'm going to take these eggs, I'm going to move them over to here, and I'll move my potato into a pan that I'm going to mix this in. I'll put that other egg in here, very hot. I'm going to put some cool water on it. The cool water will get that down, and that's my little batch of potato salad so far. You can see I put a little few ice cubes in here because I want to cool this down. It's easier to shell a hard-shelled egg if it's cool. It's also better if the eggs are more than 2 weeks old. These are all fresh eggs from my own chickens out back, so these are probably 3 days old, 4 days old maybe. So they're a little bit harder to shell when they are when they're fresh. So a lot of times I will just take them and put them in the fridge and hold on to them for a week if I'm going to have to boil eggs. But that's not the case with this one. I'm using a little ice and cool water just to bring this down to temperature so that it can come out easy. So once it's cool, and it feels cool in my hand, then I'm going to take it and I'm going to tap it against hard surface. The sink happens to be there. And then I'm going to try to pull that off. So that's most of it. And then there's another little piece of it that I'm going to get because I don't want to throw that away. So I'll put that in there. The other one's there, and then hopefully we'll be able to get it whole. I'm just tamping it on the side so that it becomes completely broken. Then I'll find a little spot, working to get this out. Okay, so that is that. Now, in the interim, while this was cooling, I put the eggs and I put them in the pan, in the pot. There's actually a bowl that I'm going to work with, and it is in the cooler. I want the potatoes to cool out a little bit if it can, and then we'll go more. So I pulled out the potatoes that were in the refrigerator, and they're cooled off a little bit, but they're not completely cold. And you wonder, why do I have this as a fryer basket that I'm not using? But I have it for a particular purpose, and I'll show you something that I think is absolutely cool. Rather than chopping these eggs, I just push it through this. And when I do that, it comes on the other side, and you see it's chopped. So these are absolutely great if you got to chop a bunch of eggs. It's a great way to get this down and mixed down. Now, if this was in the restaurant, I'd use this and stick this back in the fryer and cook any of the egg bits that are on there. And of course, wouldn't have to worry about cleaning it until the end of the night. But this I'm going to put right in the dishwasher, and it'll come in handy the next time I want to use it. All right, so I'm going to take the ingredients and kind of put this together. So what I've got here is I've got a little mayonnaise. I use heavy duty mayonnaise, and I don't buy the store the cheap ones. I bought a decent one. I like Best, Hellmann's, I like Duke's. Sometimes Kraft has a good product. But I like a good heavy mayonnaise. Perhaps we'll do a tutorial on how to make a mayonnaise if you want to. Stick around. I get enough people looking, and I'll do some more of the complicated items. I just dumped the chopped items that I had in there. I'm shaking up some yellow mustard. I like a little squeeze of mustard in there. Some people like to put vinegar in there, but I prefer to use mustard. Mustard has a different flavor than just the vinegar, but it does have a little acid in there. I'm going to use some seasoned salt. Although I did salt the water, I didn't salt the vegetables that we had in. And then we're going to put in some cracked pepper. I'm going to do something that most Southern cooks use, and that is a little juice out of sweet pickle juice. So we're going to sweeten this up with a little bit of, that's probably a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of bread and butter chip pickle juice. And I do something that my cooks always didn't like me to do. My customers love it, but and that is to add a little ranch. And that will adjust it, but we're going to mix it. We're going to see how it turns out, and we'll see if we need to add any more mayonnaise. Probably do. I think it was at the end of that jar, but I have another one in my pantry. So let's see how this works. Looks like it's mixed about right, and it's exactly about what I wanted. So I'll taste it. I might put a little of smoked paprika in it, but I'm pretty happy right now.